Hi, this is Emma from Unique Phoenix, and this is part 7, The Better Place. In part 6, I mentioned boundaries and just how important they are throughout our whole life. So it's not just in separation, but I am going to give you some specific boundaries and areas that you can look at to create boundaries. So the better place, part 7, comes with better boundaries. Now, the definition of boundary is a line which marks the limits of an area, a dividing line. So boundaries mark a line that limits how others can treat you and how you treat yourself as well. So I want to ask you, have you marked your line? In every part of the Real Raw Separation series, I have dropped in a variety of different boundaries that you can start and begin to create in your life. Knowing how important they are and the massive impact that they have is why the Better Place boundaries gets its own part, because it needs it. I know for me, so many times at the beginning of my separation, I let my boundaries do a bit of this action. It's like a pendulum swinging. And I didn't really see the effects of it, the negative effects of allowing that and not being really clear about my boundaries until after it had happened. Now, of course, this brings up, feelings of resentment and you can get really angry about it, but we're going to work on different areas, and I'll mention those to you in a minute, and so that you can begin boundaries so you're not feeling that way, because I want you to feel free and to set yourself free through boundaries. It's important to note that your boundaries are your responsibility. As you change, so will your boundaries, and no one around you can expect to remember or to know them all the time. So it's really important for you to be responsible for them and not hand them over to anyone else thinking that they're going to be responsible for them. So the first one, which is a really important one, is communication. Now, I've mentioned this before, but particularly in separation, it's really important to find out what the best way to communicate to each other is, and to stick to it. Because once you start stepping outside of that, you're going to start feeling deeply uncomfortable, and it's not going to feel authentic, and the communication can start to slip into that better place really quickly. So of course, yes, it needs to be good for everybody. However, if it's, really smashing down a boundary all the time, then it's okay to speak up and to say that you're not comfortable and that you need to go back to this kind of communication. And this is a good segue into the next one, because number 2 is about speaking up. And of course, this is important in every part of your life. However, no one is a mind reader. They're your feelings, they're your thoughts, they're your reactions, they're your perceptions. And no one's going to guess any of that from you unless you're able to communicate it. See how it goes together? So you need to be able to speak up. But let's be specific about this, because we are talking about separation. So it can be things like changes to care arrangements. I had this recently, and quite possibly how I communicated back was not my best way, but I was really proud that I spoke up and said, no, that's actually going to smash through a boundary. I'm not really prepared to change that care arrangement. So it felt uncomfortable at the time, but I do feel really good about the choice that I made. So also about, small things like who's picking up who, and it can be communicating things like, paying for different things. So again, it's really important to speak up, because you are allowed to say no. You are allowed to voice an opinion when changes come up throughout your separation. So the next one is support. And this is obviously really kind of back-end stuff. But in any part of life, we need great support. And particularly in separation, knowing the different stages that we go through, and the first initial stages can be so challenging, and some of them we can stay in the bitter place for a long time. And it's good to note who you've got around you. You want your support to be a positive impact, and by that I mean not someone saying yes to you all the time or agreeing. I mean, if you're behaving badly, it's great to have someone around you who can hold that space and say, hey, that's not cool behavior. It's really fantastic to have that in your life. I know that that's the kind of friend that I am, and I love having those friends and that support, family, people around me in my life like that too. Having someone that is a constant negative influence is often going to keep you in the bitter place for a lot longer than you need to. It's challenging when you've got someone around you. I want to call them an ex-basher, and sometimes because they've been and they're not even consciously aware of it. So it's not a judgment. I'm not saying that it's a judgment. It's just they may not be aware that they're doing it. It's okay to limit your time with those people, regardless of whether they've blood or chosen to be in your life. The last one is want versus need. Now, part 2 goes into this specifically in this series. So go back and have a look at that if you want to delve into it a little bit more deeply. But being clear about what you want and what you need is not only going to help you, but it's going to help your kids as well. It's not just with your ex, but with everyone around you. So, and it will absolutely lock in so many boundaries for you, which is why I've left it to last. Because boundaries are simple. They're not meant to bring complications into your life. So if boundaries are bringing complications into your life, are they boundaries or is there something else going on? Boundaries will not feel like they limit you. Boundaries will feel like they set you free. So if you'd like some more deeper support with this, please stay with me so you can find out how to connect, and let's get started. Hi, this is Emma. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to take the next steps with me and connect with me further, there are a few ways to do it. Firstly, my website. Second, you can find me on Facebook through my business page, Unique Phoenix. There's lots of free content and inspiring ideas. And you can like and share this clip. Please remember, I'm here to support you and help you ignite the spark that is within you right now. There is hope. Change is possible. And this is your life to live your way. Enjoy your day, always. Your way, your life.